everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and welcome to the How to Kill a Kit with Style leftover scraps hop, basically is what it is. So we're taking the last little bits of our kit and creating one more layout, showing you how we can do that. Now, I made quite a large kit this month, and I've used a ton of it, but I still have some I would like to use. And so the main one is this piece of pattern paper. It's not even a pattern paper. This is something I did years ago, and it's just sitting in my stash, and I really, really want to get that used up. And then the other thing is I have this cut file that says Explore. Some sequins, which isn't a big deal. But I also have this summer, which I had made from a previous layout for this kit. So I've got that I want to try and get mixed up in there. And the last little bit of paper I want to use is from the Simple Stories summer line from I think it was last year. I think. And I loved this line. I had so much fun playing with it. I obviously don't have very much left, just enough to make a few little things. And so I'm going to combine all of this and create my layout. So get you on fast forward. Let's see what I can come up with my scraps. And then on Monday, I think it's Monday is the last day of the month, you will see my official How to Kill a Kit with Style killing the kit, and that will be up on Monday. Let's get you on fast forward. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just get to my paper. I'm going to cut this in half too, because I want that to be the center line of what I'm working with. Now, I can't share with you the original layout that I'm getting inspired from, because it was from Christina's, I think July's, maybe August, but anyways, this current summer's Stash Bash Palooza. And she did this, and I'm sure you've probably seen a bunch of the lovely takes already where there's just a bunch of strips underneath and then this big nice block that you put your photos on top of. So this is what I'm working with. Now, I go a little crazy with my strips, and you will see that in a minute. But my plan to start with is to use this because, like I said, I've had that in my stash forever. Oh my goodness, for so long, and I just really wanted to do it. So I thought maybe drawing a black line would really help define it and make it work. And so that's where I started with. I then am going to go in and I am just going to cut, I think I cut quarter inch strips. Whatever the size of a branding strip is what I cut. And I cut and I cut and I cut and I cut, and I wasn't really thinking other than the fact that I wanted to have a couple choices of each side so that as I was layering I could make it work. And of course, when I'm thinking of doing this and I'm working through this, my plan was not to do a bunch of little strips, like a bunch, but not like a ton. I was going to follow the original quite closely, so there was little gaps in between with the strips. This is my plan. However, you're going to see I am going to lay them out and kind of figure it out what I want. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a strip. My words are lost on me tonight. I'm so sorry. A tiny strip of glue, and it's not glue, it's a tape adhesive. Oh, this voiceover is lovely. And I'm doing that because my plan is to then go to my sewing machine and stitch around the adhesive so I don't get adhesive in my machine, but to make sure that these strips are stuck, because that's my biggest problem. Is I'm like, what happens if these don't stay and all of that. So I was worried about that part. So that is how I adhere all of these. But I just kept adding, and then I kept adding, and then I kept adding some more. And so this looks really cool, and it's got some gaps to it, and I like the gaps. But yeah, it does not stay like this. It gets more and more and more and more, and it gets a little busy. And I find that it's competing, of course, with all these bright, fabulous summer colors. That is what this pattern and this collection is from Simple Stories. It's competing with, of course, that big block there that is just teal and lime green. So I am still trying to make this work, trying to figure it out. I'm still just working with my strips, layering everything up. I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of at least every pattern visible and on there. No clue about my photos yet. Like, that is so far from my mind, other than I know I want to use up as much as I possibly can because this was my last layout from this kit. Now, that being said, tomorrow you're going to see a video using my kit, but I created that after or before this layout, I think. I can't remember. They were created really close together, but this is technically my last layout. So there you go. Here is my adhesive that I was talking about. Just one little strip, and then I lay everything back down. And when I laid it all back down, that's when I kind of just started, instead of having gaps, I kind of layered over one another and filled in and filled in and filled in. And you know, it's okay though. Sometimes layouts, even though they're not necessarily the way you pictured them, in the end turn into something you didn't think of but you really love. And that is what happened with this layout. I am using a summer line, and I was totally expecting to use some sort of summery photo of the kids playing outside, or I have a couple photos of me being outside and like drinking and having a drink and stuff like that. And I totally thought it would be something like that. Yeah, no, that's not what's going to happen. So here I am. I've got, see all those strips? That's so many strips, so much more than I planned, but I really like it. Now, I don't want them all to be the same size, so I'm just simply going and kind of randomly cutting in different spots so they've all got different pieces to them. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just trying to make sure that they're not all the same length beside each other. I don't even care if the other side is wonky compared to that side. I wasn't caring about that. Just wanted everything to have a bit of difference to it. And now I'm going to be like, what am I going to do with this pattern paper? And you'll see in the end, what ends up happening is I just change it. I struggled and I couldn't make it work. And so changing it, and I thought maybe adding a pop of black would help. That's not going to help either. So you're going to see in the end what happens. And I just have to say, because I'll go into a little bit of explanation of the photo and everything, but the way that the layout turned out in the end, I'm so happy with it, and I'm so glad I pushed through, because this layout was a struggle, but in the end it was worth it, and I'm so pleased with how it turned out. So that's my hint for you, is to just keep going. Even if it's not working for you, eventually something will click and something will work. I know it can be frustrating. Sometimes the best thing to do is just walk away and come back another day, or in an hour, or whatever your time frame is for scrapping. Start something else and maybe get some ideas by hopping online and seeing what you can find out. Something will give you some inspiration, I promise. Okay, everyone, I have to apologize in advance. There is going to be noise. I've got to get this recorded for you, and my little one is not napping. So, okay, you guys saw me do the strips, and I had this piece on there. I couldn't make it work. I didn't have a summer photo to make that work. So instead of struggling, because I was already struggling, I just put this aside. I am going to keep this on my desk, see if I can use it in September, and if I can't, I'm gonna let it go, because I have had this in my stash since at least 2015, at least. So I came up with this instead. It is the back of that paper, which is from, where is this from? This is from the Good Vibes collection, which is older as well, but I grabbed that out of my stash, so that wasn't part of my kit. I then grabbed my two photos of my son getting his diploma from kindergarten. This bit of pattern paper is a 3x4 card from my kit, and then this was part of the strips that I used. I then went in to my school theme stuff, and I also grabbed a couple different things. So I used some of these super old Heidi Swap rub-ons. I also used a little bit of my Chamel sticker book, and I got this Be Bright sticker. So that was all stuff I've been trying to use anyways. I then went into, I have a little container full of school stuff, and I just pulled my school embellishments to layer them in there. This was in my little embellishments about Jackson. And I just went, oh yeah, K 2020. So my journaling is going to talk about he did it. He made it through the last bit of kindergarten during a pandemic, and how proud I am of him. And I love how this turned out. I love the inspiration I received from Christina from her class that she did this summer for the scrap layout palooza. And I'm super proud of how this turned out. Great use of scraps. So please make sure you hop along, check out what everyone else did with their bits of leftover from their kits for the month of August. And and most people will be back in September with a new kit. I'm skipping next September, and you'll see why in a minute. And thank you so much for watching. Hop along, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.